Hello everyone, this is Zeeebo and welcome to today's AFK journey video. So in today's AFK journey video, we are back to talking about magic charm skills, and more importantly, we will be giving a tier rating for all the magic charm abilities for this season so far. So for today's tier list rating, instead of the usual pull and plug the unit into a tier rating, I'll be talking about the individual charm abilities and how much impact it offers to the units in the list, and finally giving my tier rating for the skills itself. So based on the tier ratings, right, which I'll include on screen, we have the S tier, which are the skills that provides the massive power up for the character, making the character really powerful. So one S tier skill is Taelin's ability, which allows Taelin's DPS to increase tremendously, making her super useful this season, right? Another type of S tier charm skill would be the skills that are really good and just really work super well with the characters and are very often used across different game modes. So those are the charm skills that will be in the S tier, and I'll just spoil a little bit for you guys, right? Arden Carolina's ability as well as Taelin's ability will be in the S tier side. Okay, so next we have the A tier. So A tier are skills in general which are decent for the unit. I think generally useful and provides decent power up for the character, but it's by no means the most powerful or the game-changing set of skills for the characters itself, right? So those are the A tier, good skills, but not as like ultra impactful as the S tier skills itself. And then we have the B tier. So B tier are, I'll say, decent skills when you use them for specific niche categories, which are generally skills, I'll say, allocated to characters which are generally niche in nature. So they are useful, but you don't use them a lot, and generally they just don't feel as impactful as the skills in A tier or even S tier. So lastly, the very last category is the C tier. So C tier is basically, I'll say, like really not so useful skills. I won't call them useless. I think there should be some users for the skill, but either number one, the unit is just way too weak, or number two, the charm skill is just not enough to make the character of any impact for this season. Okay, so those are the charm ratings for this tier list, or for today's tier list. And without further ado, let's start with the very first charm set skill. I'll be using Printwin's website to talk about the different skills and the units in the category. So starting off, charm 1 ability increases target's damage taken by up to a certain percentage for 6 seconds and grants attack boost for a certain second when inflicting control effects on the target. So it's unstackable. So the skill, definitely S tier, because it's on some of the most powerful units that are commonly used across different game modes. Arden Carolina, they're insanely powerful for AFK stage pushing right now, and when you combine this ability with the likes of Iron Almost combo, as well as the likes of the control artifacts in general, it makes it such that the damage from these units just gets amplified a lot, and then you're able to hold the enemy down to do massive damage to them. So this ability is not only versatile but also really game changing, and is really meta fitting and used in multiple game modes. So without a doubt, this is definitely a S tier skill. So that's for the control centric charm skill 1 for both Arden as well as Carolina. So for charm set 2, right, restores energy per second in battle, grants damage bonus, and increases energy recovered per second to 40 for 8 seconds after casting the ultimate. So this is a very ultimate centric skill, and this restore energy is insanely good for some of the units in this list. So out of these 5 units right there, right, there are actually 2 units which are seeing meta usage in terms of different game modes. Elsa for Dream Realm staff as well as Primal Lord staff. Cassidy right now is the main damage dealer, or the highest damage dealer for Primal Lord Plague Creeper as well. And even for the likes of Parisa as well as Morale, they do see use from time to time in different situations, because this energy regen allows them to spam their skills, which goes really well with one of the really powerful artifacts right now, which is the Tidal Essence. However, because I think this skill is good, but the characters that are using it, they have I'll say specific niches, and not all of them are like massive glow ups, I'll give this skill a A tier. It's a powerful skill that goes really well with multiple teams, with multiple setups, but generally it's not impactful across every unit, right? It's impactful for the likes of Elsa, which loves this energy regen because she can spam the ultimate to do damage, to lock the enemy down, to synergize with the different unit, to be really good for Olsen to remove the Fury stack, and then it's really good for Cassidy because Cassidy casting her ultimate not only deals damage but also provides a debuff for the team. But then for the likes of Satrana and Morale, it's good but just not game changing enough. So I'll just give it A tier. Very strong skill, but not like the meta level kind of skill. Okay, so Charm Set skill 3. So this one, this skill is just a very simple damage reduction and energy on hit for the ally placed in front of support. So this is a very apt support skills, right? I don't know what to say more about this, so I'll just give this an A tier because this skill is just really useful all around, but it's not like game breaking. It doesn't make the units here even better because most of the units here, they are already so good that the charm skill is not gonna like impact them massively. Like all these units are seeing various use across different game modes, and this skill right here, it does provide some defensive utility, maybe specifically for PvP as well as the AFK stage push side, but in general, right, this is just like a usable skill that is not super duper overpowered. So A tier for this one. And then for Charm 4, okay, Charm 4 is a skill which increases the target's damage taken up to a certain percentage for a certain duration after the hero deals damage to the target. This is unstackable, and at 20 seconds and 50 seconds into the battle, the damage taken will be increased. So this skill is without a doubt S tier. Like this skill is one of the, I'll say like charm abilities that basically can be used in all sorts of scenarios, and it is also on some of the most used units in the game, specifically Lily May as well as Almas right now. And not only that, Torrent is a unit which doesn't offer like any sort of debuff for the team, right? It's a very simple tank that takes damage, has multiple lives, and then is able to unleash massive damage with the ultimate. But with this ability, you can also use Torrent as a debuffer for the team, and this is the reason why Torrent is also slotted into the Graveborn combo for the Plague Creeper itself, because Torrent is able to provide the additional debuff. So this ability is just really versatile. It is on some of the best units, and it's making units which are generally not used for a specific purpose being slotted in the team just to get additional debuffs for the team. So decently powerful meta skill, so S tier for sure. Now Charm Set 5. Okay, Charm Set 5 is a Dispel and haste granting for the unit. So this skill right now in general is definitely more PvP centric, but on Iron specifically, you will be able to see more use for this skill because Iron is used a lot for pushing purposes, for AFK stages, and Sinbad to a certain extent can also be used for AFK stage pushing. So this skill is more PvP centric, but it has some utility to help the unit stay alive for a little bit longer, for the unit to get healed up, or for the unit to spam what they want to do. But because this skill is generally really niche, just off the abilities alone, right, I'm just going to give this a B tier. So this is a very niche skill that sees certain usage on very commonly used characters, but obviously it's more for a specific game mode. So B tier, usable, but not as versatile and not as game changing as the S tier skills. So next, Charm Set 6. Okay, so this one increases physical and magical defense up to a certain percentage for each enemy within 2 tiles. It also increases vitality and also additional vitality for each enemy within 2 tiles. Okay, so this skill, I would say it's niche. I will say it's more like it's anti-melee more than like against the general meta, because first of all, you need to be surrounded by enemies within 2 tiles, and if you're fighting against a ranged team in PvP, then the increase from this buff is not as significant. 24% or even more physical and magical defense per enemy within 2 tiles is massive, and there's a lot of really powerful physical melee teams right now. But the thing is, I think it is a very niche situation, right? It's good against half the the type of units, right? It's not that good against range unless your tank is rushing up to the range units, and that is when you already have advantage. But then if you are actually fighting against a normal team setup, then your tank have to go through the tank first and then maybe the frontliners before you reach the back line. So the buff is insanely good if the meta shifts towards the melee side, which I could see happening with the frontline spell artifact. But right now, in terms of general usage, first of all, the units here, they are not commonly used now, and the skill, I think it's good against a specific like range type, right? Melee in general, but not so good against like maybe one front line and then 4 back line, for example. So it's not that powerful, and therefore I'm going to give this a B tier. Usable, but still really niche as of the meta right now. But this could change, like I mentioned earlier, if melee teams or frontlining teams becomes even more powerful with the addition of future charms. So lastly, 7th charm, we have charm 7, increases all damage except normal attack damage by 40% for 60 seconds, and grants the hero 35 crit for all non-normal attacks. So this is definitely an S tier skill. The reason why it's S tier is because this skill is on 2 units which generally don't rely on their normal attack, and a simple massive damage boost has allowed Talon to see multiple usage across different meta teams, and this skill will get stronger. I think this is not the max value, and the value will actually go up, which will make these units even better moving forward. And this definitely deserves an S tier because it's game changing enough for Talon to be a generally underused character to be a meta well-rounded character that's used across different game modes. So that's my evaluation for charm set 7. And then for charm set 8, right now, I don't see a lot of people running Lenya and Shakir for this ability. So this ability definitely is PvP in nature. It's definitely not PvE as well, because none of these units are that powerful for PvE except for maybe Shakir. Like, you can use Shakir for certain situations, but you're not using him for the charm set ability, right? You're using him for other stuff. So it's a really good PvP skill that can steamroll, but the thing is, it's too niche. So that's why I'm going to give it a B tier. Really, really good on the characters here because they are more snipey by nature. They want to snipe off and get some buff and then steamroll from there. So it's good, but it's just not as well-rounded and I'll say game-changing. Like, it doesn't make any of this character like even more powerful, right? It makes this, it complements with the units, but it's not as game-changing as compared to maybe like Talon's skill, for example, making this character like meta across the PvE. If like any of these assassins become like S tier must use in PvP, then I would definitely give this skill a higher rating, right? Maybe even S tier if like, for example, Shakir, Nara, Lenya and Seth becomes like S tier overnight with this ability, but it's not. So it's just a good ability that fits on the unit, but it's not like super game changing or breaking. So B tier is this skill. Okay, now charm 9 is actually interesting because within the units of charm 9, so for charm 9's ability, it increases physical magical defense, it also increases damage over time, and you can actually increase upwards to 80% damage, at least based on this value, and then 60% on physical and magical defense. So when the limit is reached, you will grant the hero extra haste for the rest of battle. So this is actually, I'll say, like a withered down version of Scalita's previous magic ability, like the ability, I can't remember the exact name, which is Heart of Unity. So this skill is pretty withered now, only applies to this unit, and I think out of these units, 3 of these units are seeing some use across different game modes. So OD is for Dream Realm in general, or just PvP, as well as AFK Stage Push. Kruger is used for Dream Realm. Korin right now is used for Primal Lord, as well as certain Dream Realm teams. So generally, I think this skill is decent, but this skill might actually scale to become even better moving forward. But right now, if we base it on the mid game, I would say it's a A tier skill. Like, it's not niche, it's useful for the units, and it's units that are generally very versatile. And obviously this skill is also very versatile. You can make the unit tankier to hold the front line, and then you can increase the damage output of the unit for them to hit harder. So right now I do think that this skill has a potential to be S tier because it's a very late gamey skill, like similar to Heart of Unity. So but if we base it on current standards, neither of these units, they are like game changing, or like neither did this ability make the units even better. Like, I think Odie will still be used even if he didn't get this ability. I think Kruger will also still use even if he didn't get this ability, and Corin will also see use even if he get this ability. So it's a good ability, but it's not what makes the unit better, and therefore I'm just giving it an A tier. Although moving forward, if this skill does get better, it could become an S tier level magic charm ability. And then we have charm set 10. So very simple buff. I'm just going to give this a A tier skill. Generally useful. Used on units like Ludovic and Reina, which are generally versatile as well. So very simple attack buff for an ally for a specific duration, and very useful on Reina in the Dream Realm side of things. So charm 11, super duper niche. This ability is B tier. Like, this ability is actually really good on Dino because it basically makes Dino's ultimate go through. It basically makes Dino the mega carry that he's supposed to be. But it's a super niche situation in PvP, and Dino as a character is not commonly seen, not commonly used, and therefore this skill, I'll group it in the niche category, which is the B tier. Then for Charm 12, Charm 12 right here is really good for AFK stage push as well as PvP, right? Because I've used it on Fresto. I also use Entendra on my free-to-play account as a frontliner with this damage reduction to hold the fort for a little bit. But I think with regards to the usage of this skill, outside of just using this skill to tank up for the team, I don't think this skill is like mega game changing. Like, it's not like, okay, without this skill you won't be using Fresto. I think you still will be using Fresto, and relatively niche in terms of like the usage for this skill specifically. I'm actually conflicted because I want to give this a A tier because I think it's useful, but then I also feel that this ability is niche on the characters. Like you don't use their characters for this charm spec specifically, or neither does this charm make these characters even better than they usually would be, right, without this charm skill. So I guess I'll give this let me see whether or not the other tanks got a decent skill. I guess from a tank perspective, this is worthy of A tier. Yeah, because looking at the remaining charm skills itself, there isn't one that is specifically meant for a tank to hold on the front line. So yes, I think to make these units better on the front line, I think this skill is game changing enough, right, for the tank category. So okay, A tier. Then for charm 13, okay, so for charm 13, I think charm 13 is questionable in a sense. Like, I really want to give this a S tier because this allows the unit to get off the ultimate that they want to use really fast. But then on my mind, it's, did this make Mikola better, or was Mikola really good and this just making her, like, you know, tip over that like really good category? And does this make Rowan better, or was Rowan already usable even with this charm skill? But then when I thought about this, I think for Mikola and Rowan, even with this, without this skill itself, they would still be used. Like, it is a good skill, okay? So I'll put this in A tier because generally useful, generally versatile, and it definitely made Mikola and Rowan better, but it is by no means a must-have and game-changing, right? So that's why I don't put it in the S tier. And for Faye's case, even if Faye got this ability, Faye is still not seeing use. So therefore, like I mentioned earlier, it's not game-changing enough for like some super underutilized character to see more use. Now, Charm 14. Charm 14 is additional damage on the target, right? So this is damage from the hero to the target. Okay, this is a downgraded version compared to this for sure. This is just increase in the damage taken for everyone. This is a team damage increase, and this is a single unit damage increase. Really niche, I guess. Probably B tier. Yeah, this is probably B tier. I think it's just like additional damage, but it's not like super the way game changing. So therefore, I'm gonna give this B tier. And then Charm 15, it's definitely This is C tier. This is the very first C tier that I want to talk about. Like, I think this ability is, I don't know. I don't know why the hero needs to be displaced to get an attack increase, and it only deals damage when the displacement ends. So for Valen's case, if he doesn't use his ultimate before he dies, he doesn't even get this ability off. For Khafra's case, yeah, Khafra does charge a lot, but same thing, if he's not displaced or he didn't proc the displacement ability to trigger this attack boost, then this skill is pretty useless. So C tier for sure. Charm 16 is a generally useful A tier skill. So Charm 16 is also the reason why CC is seeing some primal lot use to provide additional damage. So A tier for sure, generally useful. It's not like super duper meta changing, not game changing, but useful under specific situation and specifically for debuff teams in general, which are quite common in the meta. So CC is A. Now for Charm 17, emits a shockwave and reduces haste by 30 for the enemies within 1 tile. I think for this one, okay, it only applies to Brutus. Let me go back into the game and just check about Brutus' ability. So I'm going to go back into the game, check on my Brutus right here. I don't use Brutus a lot, by the way. I use Brutus for PvP setting. But the thing about Brutus' ability here, I think it's an ability which I think people might actually look down upon. But this ability actually makes Brutus an insanely good debuffer. When he taunts the enemy is forced to attack him. And this means that this debuff will actually hit quite a few enemies when he's casting this skill. So I actually use Brutus a lot for my Supreme Arena run. Sometimes for your AFK stage push, for specific cases where you need his 5-second inbound. But this skill is by no means game changing. Like, I don't think Brutus needs this for you to use him. Like, I think you will still use Brutus for this ability, and this ability is definitely decent. But I would say really situational. Like, does it make Brutus better? Yes, a little bit, but it doesn't make him like mega game changing, at least from what I observe right now. So I'm probably gonna put these in the B tier, I guess. Like, yeah, maybe B tier. Very niche. It is not like a must have, and it doesn't really make this character better or make you want to use him for this ability specifically. So that's why I'm gonna put that in the B tier. Right, so now moving on to Charm 18. So for Charm 18's ability, Charm 18 is generally okay. I'm giving this a A tier, I guess. It's pretty much the same as Lily May. Pretty much the same as Lily May in general, like in terms of what it wants to do, but I think with regards to the units that it's on, right, Brian did see some use for Guild Supremacy. I think that Brian is still one of the units that you want to use for peak Guild Supremacy damage, and certain bossing contents like Battle Drill bossing, and if you don't have other units for debuffing, you can use Brian for Primal Lord as well if you're using the wilder side of things. So this ability definitely made Brian more flexible and see more use. Okay, I think I'm going to give this skill S tier. Yeah, it definitely made Brian more use outside of just being a damage dealer, and I think Reese as a character definitely also benefited. It's probably just that nobody actively experimented with this, and this is definitely a better upgrade compared to the Lily May skill. And if I'm giving the Lily May skill S tier, this skill deserves a S tier, because if you take a look at this increases the target's damage taken by 25% for 8 seconds and reduces the vitality, right? Although you have to hit the enemy 2 times and the effect can only trigger every 10 seconds, but this skill lasts for 8 seconds, so you only typically will have a 2-second downtime, right, if you are continuously hitting the target. For Lily May's case, it's only 6 seconds, and yes, it does go up in number, but up to 80% max. This is 25%, so this is definitely S tier just off the ability. So based on this tier list, right, I think in general most of the skills are really good for the units. I think Charm 15 is the only useless skill in my honor state, which I'm giving it C tier. I actually wanted to give Charm 14 C tier as well, because I don't think it actually makes the unit better, and I think okay, fine. I will downgrade these to C tier as well. So Charm 14 and Charm 15 is C tier because Charm 14 does give the unit a little bit more, but like, yeah, now these units are seeing more use because of the charm ability, and I think it's just a very plain additional damage that you did rather not have and have, like for example Lily May's ability, for example, right, just to make the whole team do more damage on target. So therefore, for the recap, right, S tier, B tier for 17, 16 is A tier, this is C for sure, 14 is C, Charm 13 is A. Yeah, I don't think this is worthy of S tier. Doesn't really make me it's good, but it doesn't make the units even better, or it's not like game changing. Charm 11 B, because this did make Dino like definitely cast his ultimate, but that is super duper niche, so B for sure. And then Charm 12, I'm giving it S because it's one of the rare tank skills that make the tank better, make the tank become stronger on the front line. And then we have Reina, which is generally an A tier skill. Charm 9 currently A tier, but has the potential to go up as we go later into the game because this ability I can see becoming better over time. And then Shakir's case, B, very niche, definitely makes the assassins a lot better, giving them additional HP to survive, giving them additional damage boost from the crit as well as control immunity, but that is on the condition where you are already ahead when you already start killing enemies. So Charm 7 definitely S tier because it made Talon a lot better. Viprion also got a lot better as well. Charm 6 B, very B now. And then we have Charm 5 B as well, good skill, but yeah, like all the units, they are not much better with this skill, and this skill is relatively niche, I'll say mostly for the PvP side as well. So Charm 14 S, A, right, this is A, and this is S for sure. Okay, so these are the different tier ratings for all the charm set skill. I think Dahlia skill is actually in the Charm 12 category. So I think they probably haven't updated it yet. But Dahlia's ability is the Charm 12 one. Wait, is this one? Yeah, the increase in physical and magical defense. So this skill is a skill which I think might become better if the meta shifts to become more melee centric, and then this skill could also become better, jump up into the S tier as we go into the late game, because having both damage as well as defense to make sure that you are tankier, and also haste for the whole battle itself is actually really incredible. So that's something that I will actually look out for to see whether or not Scarletta can become the late game messiah once again. And that's pretty much it for this video, right? A simple tier rating for the different charm set skill. So I'll be putting a summary on screen right now and let you guys have a glimpse into like what are the different tier ratings for the different characters, I guess. If not, that's pretty much it for this video. Just a simple rating for the different charm set skill based on my personal opinion and assessment of the meta right now. Do remember to like and subscribe to see more, and if you have your own opinions with regards to the different skills, let me know down in the comment section below, and we have some open discussion going on. Okay, thank you very much for tuning in. See you guys again in my next video. Bye guys.